Hi everyone, thanks for joining me today for a quick little video on a fantastic card made with a really fun stamp set from Blue Knight Rubber Stamps. Today I'm going to be making this card. Let me show it to you. This fun little card was made with this terrific stamp set called You and Me. I used multiple layers of cardstock. I cut out a little window. I stamped this large front and the piece beneath it with this large stamp. And inside I have the sentiment that says, You and Me. This is a really great fun stamp set, everyone. I love it because you can make cards for guys, for girls, for children, because on the stamp, there's so much. It has all kinds of sayings. Batman and Robin, Snoopy and Woodstock, Mario and Luigi, Pooh and Piglet, Bert and Ernie, Chip and Dale, Lucy and Ethel, Rocky and Bullwinkle, Laverne and Shirley. So it so happens that one of my dearest friends, everyone always has called us Lucy and Ethel. So I decided that I was going to make this card, and I highlighted the Lucy and Ethel. I think this card is perfect for me to give to her. So today I'm going to repeat this card. I'll give you the measurements. I'll tell you very briefly and quickly how I made it so that you'd be able to create one of your own. And if you're interested in this stamp set, you can log into Blue Knight Rubber Stamps. Go to their website, do a search for You and Me, and the stamp set will show up. So I'm going to flip the camera down so that you'll be able to see what I'm working on below, and I'm going to give you measurements. So if you want to jot them down, you're welcome to do that. I'm a fast talker, but I'll try to slow myself up so that you can catch everything that I say. Okay guys, let's get started. All right, let me just get situated. I want to have everything set up so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I have 4 different pieces of cardstock. That's what I started out with. Okay, and so you just pick colors that you like. Just try to make sure that one of them is bright, because that's the one that you're going to want to highlight underneath, and you want it to really pop and show. So the first thing is the base layer, the bottommost layer that's going to go on top of the card is this glitter one, and it's 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So that's your base layer. Then these pieces, the pink, the green, and there's a purple mat under there, I'm going to give you the measurements for those now. The bottommost layer is this purple, and it's 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. That goes underneath these 2 pieces. Then you're going to cut 2 of these exactly the same size, and one of them is going to be that bright color that I told you about, so it shows through the window. And you're going to cut both of these at 3 3/4 by 5. Okay, right now they're the same size, but after we stamp, we're going to trim this one down just a tiny bit so that when you put it behind this one, it doesn't show on the sides. But when this is assembled, it fits perfectly on here for a narrow little mat. And then these are going to go on top of this, which is which will go on top of your card base. I also have on here, if you notice on the card, I decided to not only to highlight this in a color, but also to put an arrow on it so that it brings attention to what I'm trying to make the focal point. So I took a little piece of the glitter cardstock. I had just a little hand-cut template here of an arrow that I just cut out of another piece of scrap. And I kind of traced it on here. And now I can just take my scissors when I'm ready and very quickly just cut out this arrow. And before you know it, I will have an arrow for the next card that I'm going to make. So it's easy to make templates. I mean, this is just hand-drawn. You can trace it as best as you can, and then when you cut it, if you're a little particular and fussy, you'll get nice straight lines. And here's my arrow for the next card. Okay, that was so easy and so quick. So I saved this little template, and if I lose it, it's okay, because I could always just make another one. All right, so I'm going to get out my stamping platforms now. I have 2 of them set up already to make it easy to show you. This one has the large stamp on it. So what I would be doing is you're going to ink this up, and I'm going to position my cardstock so I have a little room to work. I like to put a little piece of tape sometimes so that it doesn't shift and move. And, oh, you know what? Let me show you this. Blue Knight, a few weeks ago I did a video, and Blue Knight came out with this magnetic stamp pad handle. It is the most amazing and great little tool. It just helps me so much because Memento, not all ink pads, some ink pads have a very narrow base, and I find that when I'm using the Misty, when I'm holding on to that base, it's sometimes too small. I feel like I'm going to lose my grip on it. So this is a magnetic block, strong magnets in here, and a little metal plate that they sell. This is adhesive. You put it onto the back of any stamp pad you want, but it stays on that pad. It doesn't come on and off. This is removable. Then this attaches, and look, I have this great secure, it's not going anywhere, handle. Now when I want to stamp what's on my, I just do all this. So what you're going to do is you're going to ink up your stamp, and you're going to stamp it onto this, the pink cardstock first, the uppermost layer. I had to re-ink 2 or 3 times to get a good, clear, dark image. So you stamp however many times you need to. Once you have the pink one done, it is going to look like this. Okay, so you'll have the pink one all stamped and it will be ready to go. All right, then you can remove the pink from your stamping tool, from your Misty, and put in the green. Set it up the same way, ink the stamp up, stamp it until you get a good clean image. Now I could tell you a little trick with this. You really only need to make sure you're getting a great image on whichever thing you're going to highlight through the window. So for me, I didn't worry too much that the top or the bottom wasn't stamping clearly. I just made sure that Lucy and Ethel were a good, bold stamp. So when you're re-inking the second or third time, it's okay if you're not inking up here. You just really want to get this stamped nicely. Once you do that, you can see here, I didn't fuss with this because it's not visible, but I made sure that my Lucy and Ethel were nice and dark and bold. So then you set that aside. Now you already have these cut because I gave you the measurements. So we can put away this stamping platform, and I already have my other stamping platform set up, and this one is set up to do the inside sentiment. So don't do what I did. I had to restamp this 3 times. I did it backwards. When I put the card together, I was like, oh no, the card is backwards. So you just take your cardstock and you set it up in here. And this one secures with magnets as well. You ink this up. Know where your position is that you want to stamp out the sentiment for the inside. And you just stamp it. This I stamped 1 time with ink. I used the handle on my little Memento pad that Blue Knight sells. I inked it up, I stamped it, I was done. So it's very, very easy to do all the stamping for this card. Once you have that done, you can set the card base aside. Now I'm finished with the stamping part of the card. The next thing that I'm going to do is you need a metal-edged ruler, and you really need an X-Acto knife. However, I put my X-Acto knife away in such a safe place, I can't find it. So I'm using a box cutter. Not the best choice for this, but it worked. So what you're going to do is, this one I did already. You're going to take the piece that you stamped, you're going to put your ruler right along the edge of what you want to cut out. And use your X-Acto knife to cut out from the topmost stamped layer the little box around the word that you want to remove, because you want that to show through the back. So I took out the Lucy and Ethel because I want the Lucy and Ethel from the green to be what shows through here. Okay, so you can see there, when I took out the pink Lucy and Ethel, it opens up the window for the green one to show through, and that's how you get the highlight. Now, you really want to take the green layer and just put it into your trimmer and trim out a sliver all around the edges. Because when you mat this, if you leave it the same size as when you cut it for the stamping, you're going to have the green showing underneath here. We really don't want that. So you see, I don't know if you could see this. Let me put it to, you see how it's just a little tiny bit smaller all around? I just took this after I stamped it, put it in my trimmer, and took a sliver off of the sides. So now I have those pieces ready. So what I can do is I can take and put my adhesive onto this. Okay, because I'm going to put these two pieces together now, and you'll see how easy this card is to make. Okay, so I loaded up my adhesive. I'll put a little bit more up here just to give it a good stick. I don't want to put it over the Lucy and Ethel though, so I have to be careful not to do that. Okay, now I'm going to take this, and I want to position the one that has the window cut out over the Lucy and Ethel. So I'm just going to turn it so I could see it, and then I'll turn it back so you can see it. Okay, so I have my green one. Whoops! I have the green one underneath. So you see already? Here it's all showing through. My next step now, remember I had all my layers cut. So this is now ready to be matted onto the purple. So I'm going to take my adhesive. I don't know about you guys, but I always use more adhesive than I probably need to. I have this thing that I don't want my cards to fall apart when I give them to somebody. Okay, so here we go. I put the adhesive. Now I'm going to mat this layer onto here. Now, you know, I chose bright colors because I tend to work in very subdued colors, garden floral colors, but I thought I need to step out of my comfort zone and I need to do something bright. So I have that. This is ready to go now. Now, remember I stamped my base card. The sentiment is in there. So I'm just going to, this was scored already, and that's how I knew where to position the stamp. I'm going to just give this a nice clean crease. Always use a bone folder. Okay, I'm going to move my ruler aside. Okay, so this is ready. Now don't do what I did. I assembled my first one all backwards. So here we go. So I'm going to turn this around. Now I know I want to put this beautiful glitter right on here. So once again, I think I'm going to run out of ATG in a second. Let's see. Okay. All right, we have that. I think I'm going to make it with this. All right, let's see. Now I'm going to put this mat on here. This is so sparkly. I'm not a sparkly girl, but I love this. So there we go. I have the base mat on there. Now we want to put this on there. Okay, I'm going to put, whenever I use something that's a little bit difficult to put adhesive on, I like to use a little bit of score tape because I feel like it gives me a really good stick. And I want to position the image layer, which is this, with foam so that it's a little bit elevated for some dimension. So I just put 2 pieces of score tape on the back of these two now that they're assembled. And I'm going to take a piece of fun foam. It was just a big, I have them over here in different colors. It was a big sheet of fun foam. It has an adhesive back, and I just cut out the size piece that I need. I'm going to peel the adhesive off. Well, I'm going to put the non-adhesive side down because I put score tape there. Now I'm going to take the adhesive backing off, and just because I'm a little bit over the edge with adhesiving, if that's a word, I put a little piece of score tape diagonally across the back of this, just so that I feel confident that it's not going to shift anywhere. Okay, now we're ready to put this down. It's going to have just a little bit of dimension. So let me turn it this way, and then I'll turn it back so you can see it. Alrighty, so here we go. I'm just going to put this down. Alrighty, and here we go. That's ready to go. And now, if you remember on the original card, I had the arrow pointing to Lucy and Ethel. You can do the arrow in any color you want, but I kind of like to match it back to the matting color. What I did was I just took the edge of my foam dimensionals and I cut a little strip of foam because it's very narrow, the arrow. So I just took this and I stuck it on to the back of the arrow. And then I took, I wanted the arrow to be elevated in the back but down in the front. So I took a glue dot and put it under the head of the arrow. And that allowed me to have the arm of the arrow a little bit elevated but the point down. So now I'm ready to peel off the back of this adhesive strip, the foam, and I'm just going to position my arrow, and it's pointing to Lucy and Ethel. And guess what? There's the card. So this has all the choices. I chose Lucy and Ethel with the arrow, so that's what's pointing to us. And in here it says you and me. This is the easiest card to make, everyone. I think you saw how quickly I did it. Once you measure everything and you get yourself situated, you're done. You just have to do a little bit of stamping and put it all together. So I hope that you enjoyed this quick little tutorial. I hope that you're following along this week at my blog because I have so many great cards plus a giveaway. So Blue Knight was so kind when they knew that I was featuring their stamps all week. They said they would donate 2 stamp sets to be given away. So there'll be 2 winners at the end of the week for a stamp set. So my blog is bellissimacards.blogspot.com. And it'll be underneath the video. So you're welcome to join us there. There's a few more days, and you could always go back and see the cards that I made prior, but I think you would love to see the style of their stamps. They're a little bit different. They're not your run-of-the-mill stamp company. They have a lot of art quality stamps and a lot of beautiful sketched images, things to color, silhouette images. So this is just one stamp set that I fell in love with, and I thought it's fun. Sometimes it's nice to make a fun card. So here it is. This is the stamp set made with the You and Me stamp. No, this is a card made with the You and Me stamp set. This is the stamp set. This is the card. And thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed this quick little fast talking tutorial. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you over at my blog for the giveaway.